Hello and welcome to Who Dares Rolls. I am your host Mike B. Here we are again for another week. I'm here, you're there, stuff is going on. How is things? Everyone alright? Neighbours behaving themselves? Wife okay? Girlfriend alright? Boyfriend fine? Anything all that going on? All that good? Good. Excellent. Well, that's nice though. Play some games. Lovely. Welcome. I'm feeling better than I was in the previous videos. I was completely unfocused in the last one, quite literally. And the one before that, I was barely alive. I don't even remember. So I am feeling functioningly better. Doesn't mean the quality or uptake or anything of this is going to be any better or make any more sense, but feeling a bit better. So that's nice. That's it. That's nothing more to say on it. Let's just plow on. Let's just fucking grab the ball sack. I was going to say. I don't know why. We'll grab the ball sack and just and motor on. With what I've played. Played stuff. So Friday last week, Friday Night Games took place. We played a few. I wasn't feeling it. I had a long week and I really wasn't feeling it. Was going to bring some stuff and then I was like, Jesus Christ, if I bring stuff I'm going to have to maybe do some teaching and stuff. And I was just like, fucking dumb. So I went along empty-handed because I knew Ben would bring stuff and he didn't know this, but he brought stuff. So we had just one. I think he got to play that at the Cabin Con, which is our own, I'm merely a passing traveller in that occasionally. Mini-con, as Ben and a bunch of his mates from I think it was from an old, anyway, it's irrelevant. Anyway, they all know each other from somewhere. And they get together and play board games. I think just one was one he played there and he picked up subsequent to that and brought along because he must have enjoyed it. Just one is a word game. Essentially, you flip a card, everyone else can see it, you pick a number, and that's the word that they have to make you guess. And they'll get a thing that they write one word on, which they all turn over. You can't have any duplicates, and you are to work out what that word is from that. That's it, pretty much. Kind of similar to Codenames, really, in some ways. I mean, to be fair, I'm not the world's biggest word game fan. Just one's okay, does what it says on the tin, it is that. It's right for a couple of rounds, and I'm done, I'm out, really. I'm not the world's biggest that sort of stuff. The only stuff I used to quite like Balderdash back in the day. I used to play a bit of Balderdash, but this mixes it up. But I will admit that sort of word game thing, just kind of like, there's a lot of other stuff I'd rather do to fill the space. It's okay. But Ben obviously enjoyed it. Then we had Blume, which is spelled like that. B-L-D, Blume, but it's flowers, Blume, but spelled weirdly, I don't know. Anyway, it is essentially you putting tiles down of matching colours basically, of building flowers out of 4 bits. And then you can make hybrid and score more points, and all this sort of stuff. And that's what you're kind of doing. Couple of, so the first thing's it's all right, it's a tile laying game, fine. The problem is we played it at 5-player, I want to say. Yeah, 5-player. And it's a game that definitely opens itself prone to AP. And so how I put it, when we played it, was it seemed like a really interesting, good game, but they just went on for about an hour and a half more than it needed to. It's what I say on the map. So you're making these tiles and you do one round and then you do a second round and then you throw and you can trim bits off your thing and you're making different sets and it's all good. It just becomes this AP inducing fucking nightmare the more you play it because the board gets larger and the options grow and more options and more stuff. So I think in a couple of players would be better. The larger player count, it just becomes no. I was getting flashbacks to games of 5 tribes I've had. this is the sort of thing that can create AP in just a general, nobody with any particular prior AP leanings, I feel. Everyone was kind of having a bit of brain dysfunction. Other issues it looks generally all right, pretty on the thing, but there's a big issue I had, and actually I didn't raise it at the time, is the red and the orange flowers, as markers for them, are pretty much fucking identical in colour. There's different size around it. I got it wrong to start with, and I forever was struggling with which one's that again. And other people at the table. How or why a game get published in the modern age where you've got two colours virtually the same on there? I don't know. I think this was Kickstarter. But yeah, there you go. I will say essentially unexceptional. It was all right, but I'm not the world's biggest make tiles on the thing. I play Tetris and want to do some shit like that. I don't know. But especially at 5 players, it was torturous and not doing, frankly, anything different to what I've done a dozen times after playing other tile games. So yeah, and then we played some poker, whereupon I did very well and robbed Ben for quite a bit of money. I felt much better about myself after that, so that was nice. Then on Sunday we played Dojo Kun again, which is the Cool Mini or Not Kung Fu Dojo game. Played it last week, said I wanted to play it again, we did, we got it to the table again. And I will say all of what I said about it before, its strengths were great. It is a really tight engine building game with these 2 tournaments. It feels, like I said last time, is that it almost feels like it's over too quickly and that you maybe need more. But then we kind of dissected that after we played the second game of it, and of the opinion of what else could you do, because you've kind of powered your fighters up. A third tournament would result in everyone having pretty much powered up to the top fighters, so there'd be kind of level playing fields and just down to dice rolls. So it wouldn't add anything, just more time. It's one of those that leaves you wanting more, and I think that's cool for that. I think now, having played it a couple of times, I still think it's very good and it's a solid thing. Longevity of it is a thing I would say is probably where that drops off a cliff edge, is that because there's no expansions ever coming for this, there is a very base of the stuff you've got, and it feels like had it had an expansion with more fighters and more events, more good shit that could go on, I think it could have done very well for itself and would have been open to more cool shit that could have come down the road, and then maybe more tournaments and opening up. There's lots of opportunity where that could have gone. Sadly, we were robbed of that opportunity as it kind of just came out to retail, and that was it. So I'm left on the fence of, I still think if you can get it cheap, it's not a bad game. It's a pretty good curio, and there's an interesting tight little engine builder, bit of worker placement with this Kung Fu Dojo theme of fighting, and the fight systems are really well done. There's a lot of cool stuff going on in there. But yeah, I don't think it's got the legs to hang around forever. Maybe it's one of those, definitely, I think when you've played about 4 or 5 games of it, you're probably going to be done with it, other than coming back to it every so often. I do like it. It's in the collection for the minute. I think it's a solid game. It's a solid game. It's just not... I can see why it didn't do as big as it did, but I can also... It's a shame because it could have been more than it is. If that makes sense. So there we go. So Downforce we played a couple of tracks. I like Downforce. Really simple racing game, bit betting involved. I won both of them. I totally fucking nailed it in Downforce this week. Enjoy it. It's good. It's one of those really... Oh, I thought my mic had fallen off. One of those easy to get to table and teach and play. Plays for any fairly good player counts. I think it plays up to 5. And it will play to muggles, and it's good and it's solid. And I've for pounds per value of that, I've got a good amount out of it. I know it's on Board Game Arena. I think you can play that without paying for the subscription, so if you get a chance, give it a shot. But yeah, I prefer the Formula D and all that sort of stuff because it's easy to get to table and have a crack at it, and it's fun. And that was that. Then we played Lifeboat, which I haven't played for ages, which is this a kind of socially deduction-y game. Essentially, you play characters on a life raft. You can play up to, I think, 6. And you all have a character on this boat, and it's represented by characters on the board on the boat. People towards the front can divvy up provisions, which can all be all sorts of good stuff to help you on your voyage. And the guy at the back, a bit like the admiral in Battlestar Galactica, chooses where you actually go on the navigation cards that have been played out that turn. Essentially on your turn, you do one thing. You can row the boat to get more navigation cards into the navigation card pool. You're looking for 4 birds to save you. You can have fights. You can shove yourself up and down the boat, and you can join in with fights or whatever between people. People can fall out of the boat. You can get buckets of chum, which you can essentially chuck in the water if someone's in it. What you essentially get is you'll get a character, your character, and then you get 2 cards of love and hate. And essentially they will represent the 2 people, the person you love, which you want to see survive and get more points for, the person you hate, who you want to see die. And that's dealt out randomly to each other, so it sets this sort of thing in motion where everyone's trying to fuck over each other on the boat. And it's fun. It's a fun little thing. It's a nice one. It's probably tricky to get now because it's quite old. I don't think it's in print anymore. But I forgot how good it is as what it does, as a real simple, and it's a little box. It's all there over there. I'd drag it and I'd say, look at this. Oh, fucking hell. Honestly. I get it. I pressure I'm under. Oh no, the mic. See, are you happy now? Just honestly. Need. Something else I haven't got. Anyway, Lifeboat. That one. That's what it looks like. Really simple. I like the graphic design. I like it. It's just a fun game. There was a couple of expansions to it I never picked up because getting this actually was at the right time in the wrong place or whatever. But the expansions were only small 4 or 5 card decks. There was one for cannibalism, some other ones I would have quite liked to have added to this, but then they were very hard to ever get hold of and always ridiculously overpriced when I did see them, so I never bought them. But yes, good game and very much worthy of reprint. I feel could do a bit of polish up and a reprint, and I think that would do very well today. I don't know when it came out. I have not got my glasses on me, so there is little hope of me working that out. But it came out at some point from Guerrilla Games, and it's that game. Lifeboat. We also played Coup, which is was reprinted by Indie Board and Card, I think it was. There's a couple of variations of it with different art styles. They did one that reprinted it and put it out in the Resistance universe as this cyberpunky fail. Over those early versions, it's kind of irrelevant. It's kind of like Love Letter, but weaponized to a certain extent. You each get 2 cards each in front of you, represents your influence in the court. Like Love Letter, there is different cards that have different abilities on them, and there's 3 of each of these cards in the deck. I think in total there's about 4 or 5 different characters, and they all do different things. Some allow you to steal stuff, some allow you to get more tax of money from the middle, some allow you to block certain attacks, some allow you to attack people. But the key thing is your cards are face down, so no one ever knows what you've got. And you're getting money throughout the game. When you get 7 money, you can perform a coup on someone, which essentially turns over one of their influence cards, takes it out of the game. Or you can assassinate them. But the cool thing is how it works is essentially you take actions, and you can lie about what cards you've got in front of you. So you say, oh, I'm going to do this action because I've got that card. And you take it and do the thing, which is fine. At any point in time, anyone at the table can challenge you for being a lying, dirty, rotten bastard. And whereupon you have to show your cards, as it were. If you've got the card you've claimed to have had, you flip it over and say, I've got it. That person loses one of their influence. That card gets shuffled back in the deck, you get a new one. And that's it, pretty much. There's just different cards. Some allow you to draw cards. Some, as I say, allow you to do stuff. And it's this kind of cutthroat game of everyone looking to do everyone else, but it's like this escalation, this arms race of who's going to strike first. And if you strike, you're probably going to want to finish them off. And often what you'll see is one person loses an influence, and then it's kind of a feeding frenzy as everyone kind of goes, pivots, let's just take them out. And it's a great game. I've not played for ages. It's been on my shelf, and I've not played for ages, but it's a solid game. I've got the, I can see that. I'm not going to get out. I'm not getting it, okay? But, oh, for fuck's sake. This, which they reprinted it, they brought out with Reformation, which had an expansion, some other bits to it, which rather like the Resistance things. Actually, I don't think I played it a couple of times. But on the whole, there's lots of extra cards. I've got enough cards in there, I think, to play about 12 different games of Coup at the same time. But yeah, it brought a lot of extra stuff to it, which was superfluous. And actually, the base game is perfectly fine on its own. It works a treat. I know there was a different version of it that came out with some nice sort of art. I can't remember if it was Spanish or something. Good version of it. If you're more aesthetically inclined, if you're not a fan of this style of stuff, which I can take it or leave it. Yeah, anyway, so played that, and that was really good fun as well. I recommend Coup. Lifeboat might be harder to get. Coup you should better track up in some capacity, and that is a good little portable that sort of style of game. And that is that. So we should do some news. And damn it if I don't do that now.
Here is the news.
The news of newsiness. So Dragon Meat is still on at the moment. I am still technically going. I'm at the fence at the moment with the arrays of the Amiga variant or the Omicron. Every time I see Twitter and I see news reports, it's like I'm in a sci-fi movie. So there's the new COVID variant out and about, which is clearly loose because we've got the border control of... Well, we haven't got border control, let's be honest. So yeah, that's happening, and so I don't know. I'm on the fence because I've kind of steered clear of a lot of large public gatherings due to not wanting to die. So I'll see if I see how I feel with regards to that. Don't know. Kind of on the fence. So anyway, so that's going on. In other news, Wingspan has sold over 1 million copies. There you go. Amazing. If that's your thing. TMG has officially gone bust. I mentioned that months ago, and I think it came to pass a couple of months ago. So they're currently in the process of essentially liquidating existing stock in the States and the US. So the Cool Stuff Inc., I think, are running that sale. A bunch of stuff on there cheap, which you won't better buy unless you live in America, in which case you're probably not watching this, because I don't feel my reach is that. But if you're there, well done, colonial cousins. You may purchase some games cheaply. And then the world a little bit broke a bit when Call Me or Not announced Marvel Zombies Zombicide, which is that, which I believe you can play as some of the actual heroes and against the zombie version of the Marvel heroes in the Marvel Zombies universe. And then they went further to release this Galactus, Zombie Galactus, giant 12-foot tall Zombie Galactus. That's the first official, on the advertising, it's the first, comes with the first bonus expansion that you have to pay for straight out the gate. Probably more than the base game, for like your own body weight, Galactus plastic, zombie stuff. I mean, they did it with a Cthulhu Death My Day. I mean, it barely plays a part in the game. It's just basically a big lump of plastic toy thing. I'm kind of parted ways with Call Me or Not anyway a while back, because I just think I'm done with their business model and what you get. And the value's not there anymore. But this is just whatever. But if you're a fan, I mean, Marvel Zombies is kind of cool. Don't get me wrong; they're fucking dope. But just no, not that though. That's not so dope. That's just a bit poop. Then on Kickstarter, there is at the moment is Voyages, which is from a UK company in Oxford, UK. His name now escapes me as what they are, but essentially it's a roll and write. It's C4 as a roll and write game. Essentially, £4 is what this will cost you, and it's all printed from home, not manufacturing anything. So, you know, for your eco warriors out there, those of a persuasion, then, you know, this is relatively cheap and inexpensive and is not doing terrible things to the environment, in theory. And you could either play it on an iPad, I guess, if you've got that, or not. You can buy a print and play, roll the dice. You get 3 dice, you roll dice. 1 dice is your where you're steering your ship, one's the speed of it, and the other one's something to do with the cargo or something you pick up. You're essentially sailing around islands, doing shit, and then when you, either the 16th turn, I think, or if you get 3 stars on your epic captain chart, then the game ends and stuff happens. I'm not the world's biggest print and play fan. I'm not the world's biggest roll and write fan. However, for £4 and it's a UK company and small-time designers, it's an opportunity to support that. I kind of like the concept of it. It'd be ready, I would imagine, relatively quickly. I don't know what the end date was on it. I didn't look. So it's something you're kind of going to get pretty quickly. And it's something I think actually, got my games night, would be a fun little distraction. I'll see. But that's out there. If you're interested, I would get the Mystic Eye, but he's over there. And I've already got up fucking twice. You know, maybe do it again. No, I've stood on the fucking mic cable. Oh, the fucking mics. Very, very needy tonight. I'll just say that. Mystic Eye. What are we even asking the fucking Mystic Eye? Marvel Zombies. Is it the yes? Marvel Zombies. Giant Galactus. What do you say to that pile of shit? I would agree on this. We can concur, Mr. Guy. It is extremely doubtful that it holds any gameplay at all. Well, thank you for that. That's almost informative for a change. Well done. Your time spent on the shelf in the corner has probably helped out immensely. So anyway, that's stuff. Voyages. That's £4. It's on Kickstarter at the moment. Maybe if I remember rightly, I'll link at the bottom of this. Have a look at that. £4 bonus. Play that ad nauseum. Print it home. Play it a lot. Lovely. All part of the service. And that's it, really. That's me for the minute. Reading, I still haven't finished the Tarantino book. I'm busy, so I haven't really had a chance for that, so I need to wrap that up. And I haven't read the comics or anything for a while. I have been digging into a bit of telly. I suddenly worked out the other day that actually I'd not watched The Expanse season 4 or 5, and I think 6 is due to drop soon. So I thought, you know what? Should probably do a little bit of catch up on that. So I've been watching season 4 of The Expanse at the moment. After the breakneck pace of the first 3, which I felt were pretty good, I did enjoy most of The Expanse, I feel, up to this point. I had enjoyed it. I kind of think season 3 was the point where Netflix dumped it, if I remember rightly, and it looked like it wasn't getting picked up again. So what happened was I essentially just went, oh, well, fuck it. And I don't think I'd watched season 3 for a while because I thought there was no point persisting with it because it was not going to find a home. Then it did. Then I watched 3, and then, anyway, long story short, I hadn't watched 4. So yeah, watching it, it's all right. I like The Expanse, but after the first 3 seasons, which seemed, once you get about episode 4 or 5 of season 1, it kind of takes off and doesn't really let up. It kind of slowed down a bit towards the end, and so this it feels like a total reset, a bit of a recalibrating the whole everything. It's much more centered on one location mostly, with the characters involved in that rather than spread. What there is of it is small and minimal, and kind of a lot of it isn't kind of maybe those bigger, punchier stories than we had in the earlier seasons. So it just feels a little bit less than, although I'm enjoying it anyway because it's quite enjoyable. And I'm going to persevere through because, I've got this and another season to watch and potentially a 6th season, which is due soon. So, worth a punch. And The Expanse is pretty good. You can't go, if you've not seen The Expanse, give it a shot, but stick with it because it takes to about episode 4 or 5 of the first season to really kind of kick into gear and get going. But once it does, that first season is astoundingly good. Maybe nothing quite lives up to it, but I do remember enjoying 2 and 3. And I'm interested in where it's going. It's not bad, a bit of sci-fi TV. Then I watched the first 2 episodes of Hawkeye that came out last week. Enjoying that. I'm enjoying that. I've not read much of any of the Hawkeye stuff, comics or anything, so really much to go on. Kind of that Shane Blacky vibe from the trailers for it, that set at Christmas Shane Black vibe. And it works, right? Haley Stenfield, I'm going to say Haley Stenfield, I think she's playing the character whose name escapes me at this exact point in time. But she's pretty good. I like her in it. Jeremy Renner's always kind of a bit sort of like, very kind of hard to read. But he's playing it pretty deadpan. And I quite enjoy it. I don't mind him as an actor. And on the whole, it's quite light and breezy entertainment. So there's only about 6 episodes of it anyway, so it's dropping every Wednesday. So see, but first 2 episodes of that, right, enjoyed that. Quite breezy, got on with it. I'm not really worrying about the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe thing and how that connects to everything else. I'm kind of just, at this point, I'm just like, along for the ride. And so, yeah, it's cool. It was entertaining. It's recommended. I'd say give it a shot. And then something else, but it's gone now. I watched June. So we watched June. I may have come across a copy of June to watch. I watched it all, but I sat at home and watched it. I enjoyed it more. Okay, I will say this. I was not in the right frame of mind while I watched it, but I enjoyed it a lot more sat at home and watching it, just being able to just kind of absorb it. And it's pretty cool. I just, expectations are set now for the whole thing. So that was pretty cool. And I know Owen Dawes wants to go and see Ghostbusters Afterlife, which is Ghostbusters, which, I love a bit of Ghostbusters. The original Ghostbusters, and 2 even, are pretty good. With less said about the abomination that came out a couple of years ago, which just was terrible. And it has nothing to do with it being female-centric. It was just terrible. It seemed pointless. So this is kind of, I get the feel that this is more of a continuation of the Ghostbusters thing, but the grandkids of Egon, I know that. You get that from the trailer. Okay, playing out an adventure. I've heard it. Kevin Smith, I think I caught him on one of his podcasts, had said it was essentially, they nailed that Goonies vibe of the kids in things. So that sounds kind of cool, because Owen Dawes loves a bit of Goonies. So I'm interested to give that a shot. Ghostbusters is good, and the fact this looks like it seems to be planning to set up for more to come, on board for. Like a bit of that. We shall see if I get a chance to go and see it. And that's it, really. There is probably more news and more excitement and more stuff I've not covered, but it's not here, so there you go. Charlie is going to do some vids for us soon. As I said, he's been at CamingCon, and he's doing a nanomirai or something. Basically some writing thing he's doing. Write a novel in 10,000 words in a week or something, so he's just finishing that up. And other stuff. So, but he will, I think he wants to do a CamingCon video, and he wants to do something else on something else. He's Final Gale. He's got the Final Gale Kickstarter, so he's got unboxing and that to come, which is one I quite like the idea of, theme-wise. It just wasn't the right time for me, Kickstarter-based with finances and stuff. So I didn't do it. But anyway, there we go. So that's what's going on with us. I will obviously be back in the video. I'm off next week, so I'm hoping to get some reviews filmed that I haven't done yet. I need to finish playing the June Portal game, and I need to put up the Dreadful Circus review, and probably other stuff. So I need to do all that, and I'll get some other content done as long as I survive for that week. And Dragon Meet's the weekend. So yeah, Dragon Meet's the weekend. Fuck. So we're supposed to be doing that as well. Yeah, shit. So lots potentially going on. We shall see. For the time being, either might be. This has been Who Dares Rolls. It was a mumbo jumbo to contend with, I feel. I hope that this is in focus. I hope the sound is working. I hope many things. What can you do? You can just cop the balls and pray and hope. That's about it, really, isn't it, people? Stay safe out there, look after each other, play some fucking games, and I'll catch up with you all very soon. I am absolutely fucking sure of it. Until then, adios, and goodbye, and stuff. Things. Bye.